Hi, and welcome back to another Magicavoxel tutorial. In this one, I'll show you how to export files in Magicavoxel over to 3D modeling software such as Blender. So I have this little scorpion I made in Magicavoxel, and I want to import it into Blender. So what you want to do is go down to the bottom right here, where it says export, and export as an object file. And now it's going to ask you where you want to save it. I'm just going to put it in my desktop and make a new folder. Just call it Scorpion. And open this folder, and I'm going to save it in here. So heading over to my desktop, it's saved right here. And the reason why I say make it in a folder is because when you export files as objects, it exports the actual object file, the materials file, and also the color palette. So with the Scorpion exported into a folder, let's go ahead and open up Blender so we can import the Magicavoxel file. Okay, we're in Blender now, so we're just gonna hit General, and like always, delete the cube. Go up to the top left, hit File, go to Import, and import Wavefront Object. And you're just going to go ahead and go to where you saved your file. In this case, I saved it in desktop under Scorpion. And you're going to select the object file. That's the one that's labeled with a cube. And just hit import object. And right now you can see it looks gray and it doesn't look like the colors transferred. But actually, you're just in workspace mode. And you just want to go ahead and go to Viewport Shading. And when you go here, you can clearly see the Scorpion is colored. And let's go ahead and turn these off so you can see it better. So now you can see the Scorpion is fully colored in Blender. Now some of you might be wondering, what about the what if in Magicavoxel you have other materials such as light or glass? Well, too bad it isn't as easy as just doing what I just did and importing the object file. There's a little more steps to it, but it should not be too much of a problem depending on your scene. So let's just go ahead and take a quick look at a simple example on importing other materials such as glass or light. So here I have this very simple house that I made from the default cube, which has a couple of windows and a light source to show that there are multiple materials being used in the scene. We're just going to do the same like we did with the Scorpion. We're going to go ahead and hit export object. And I'm just going to save it in my desktop for simplicity's sake. Just call this house. Simple house. And go ahead and open that folder. And go ahead and save it in that folder. Now let's go ahead and open up Blender. Okay, like in Blender, just go ahead and delete the default cube. Go ahead and hit import wavefront object. Find where you save the house, and like with Scorpion, click on the one that has the cube, and we go to Viewport Shading. You can see the materials have not transferred right. Go ahead and fix that. So you want to go up to the top right here where it shows like a little crosshair symbol, and just left click and drag it left. So you have two windows. In the second window, we're going to go ahead and click on this little icon. There's a drop down. Go to UV editor. And we are now going to go ahead and go to the left side on this window. Hit edit mode. First, select the object and then go to edit mode. And now we're in edit mode. We're going to go to the right window again. Click on the two arrows right here and select face select. And now if I scroll in, you can see the color palette associated with the object I have selected. And the glass in this case is this grayer color, and then the light is this yellowish color. So let's go ahead and start with the glass. To select just the glass, just left click drag outside this dark area here. Just go over the glass. You can see all the faces that are glass on this left window is selected. And now we just gotta go to the little ball circle here and put this plus icon and hit new to create a new material. You can rename it. And then we're just gonna scroll down here where it says transmission, turn that all the way up, reduce roughness to 0, and then hit assign. And now this material glass is assigned to the selected faces. And now let's go ahead and get that light. So this is the light. This is the color for the light. So we're just gonna left click drag so that selects the light. Do the same way we did for the glass. Hit this plus icon, hit new. Let's just call this light. Scroll down here to where it says emission. Click on this and click on the eyedropper tool, and you can just actually just click right here to select that exact color. And we're going to turn emission strength pretty high, like 200. And now hit assign. So now that we are done assigning the colors the associated shaders, we can go ahead and close this window. We're just going to go right here where the windows intersect each other and it shows the crosshair symbol. Hold down left click and drag to the right, closes that window. We can exit edit mode by either pressing tab or by clicking edit mode directly and hitting object mode. And right now in the viewport shading, you can't really tell that the changes have taken effect. However, if you go to this one, the clearer circle, you can see that there is some change happening and that these two materials have separate colors now. What we want to do is you go to the Nikon camera right here, click that, and we're going to switch the render engine from Eevee to Cycles. And now you could see that both the glass and light have been fully implemented in Blender, and it looks fairly similar to what we had in Magicavoxel. One final thing to mention is that if you have two or more objects in Magicavoxel and you go ahead and hit export, it's going to go ahead and create two separate object files with their own color palette and materials. So for instance, I saved it in new folder right here, and you can see it saved 1 gear and 2 gears, each with its own material file and palette color. So if we open Blender, and let's just delete this house, we go to File, Import, Wavefront Object, go to Desktop, and find where the gears were saved. You can see that it saved the 2 objects. In Blender, you would think that if you just hold down Control on both of these and try to import, it actually only just imports 1. So you could see that if you have more than, say, 10, it could be pretty annoying importing objects one by one. So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is that you don't have to assign material shaders in Magicavoxel if you don't want to. You can also do it in Blender. For instance, this has the diffuse default shader in Magicavoxel. Let's say I want to give this a metallic shader. We can just go ahead and select this object and go to the materials tab and just play with these settings here. Turn metallic up, specular up, and turn roughness down. Now you can see if I bring it towards the light, there is starting to have some sort of metallic shader applied to it, and which we created from Blender and not Magicavoxel. I hope this tutorial has helped, and I'll see you all in the next one.